Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and in this episode, the fifth and final episode of our series, we are talking about using this time to expand your learning and your skills in the coffee industry so that you can thrive in the challenging times we're experiencing. You ready? Let's do it. This podcast is brought to you by Map It Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/Map It Forward to find out how you can become a member today. The first step in expanding your learning is gaining awareness of what it is that you don't know. In the coffee industry, as small business owners, we spend so much time battling so many battles that the luxury of learning new things intentionally and setting aside time to learn those things really is always at an arm's length. So creating the space to do that is oftentimes a luxury that people say to me, look, Lee, I would love to be able to go and do a course on social media, or I would love to be able to figure out how to be a better leader, or I would love to learn about the coffee supply chain or whatever, but I simply am too busy running my business. And this is a time where the challenges that are ahead of us, and well, not ahead of us, the challenges that we're experiencing, they're no longer ahead of us. Those challenges are going to give us the opportunity to make some changes in our business. And a part of making those changes in our business is making room for learning. So the first step is understanding what it is that you don't know that you would like to learn more about. An example of that is I'm hearing a lot of people come to me at the moment and say, my number one problem that I wish I knew how to solve is that my staff keep coming to me and telling me that they're having mental health issues, and I simply don't know how to deal with that. And that to me signifies or indicates or signals to me that these business owners care deeply about fixing this problem. They just aren't skilled enough to do it. One way to fix that would be to pay a counselor or pay a consultant some money to teach you about how you might be able to be better at doing that. It's important for you to realize that you aren't your team's therapist, you aren't their parent or their psychologist, but there are ways that you can make the workplace feel safe. And so if something like that is important to you and you feel that it's valuable enough for you to learn how to do, it's worth doing. And so the first step of expanding your learning is first understanding what it is that you want to know more about. The next step is understanding how that will increase the value of your business and the quality of the way that your business exists. A different way to say that is, how will that learning become an asset for you and for your business? The reason this is important is because it then becomes the marker of success that we define in everything that we do at Map It Forward. Whether it's the first time we're having a meeting, or if it's the first time we're meeting with a client, or we're doing a presentation with the client for the first time, or we're setting out on a new customer acquisition plan. We always start by asking this one question: what does success mean for this project, or for this meeting, or for this customer acquisition plan, or for this workshop, or for me learning this new thing? So by understanding the asset of what this learning will turn into, will become your marker of success. It will help you define what success means for the outcome of this journey of learning that you're going into. It's important for you to understand, as a part of learning and expanding and growing, it's important for you to understand not just how that's going to affect you, but how is it going to affect the whole ecosystem of your business. So what I would encourage you to do is have the tough conversations that need to be had with people who agree with you, as well as people who disagree with you. So if there are learning elements that you want to undergo as, let's say, the owner of a business or a business partner, having conversations with your entire team about what you would like to learn as a business, what insights you would like to gain as a team in your learning process could be very valuable as an asset to the business itself. So for example, I had a client that I had invited them to go and have this conversation with their team. What do you want to learn about? What do you think would be important that would help you do your job better? And one of the suggestions from the team that ended up being echoed through everyone in the team was, we want to understand the numbers in the business. We want to learn how this business makes money and if it makes money. Now, that was very intimidating for the business owner because it meant that they had to open up their books if they were going to encourage this kind of learning. But it was also intimidating because that business owner didn't know how to pass on that information. And so our work together as a coach and a client became about addressing the anxiety that was around that, but also understanding the asset that would bring to the business as a whole when the staff finally got insight to why the business was losing money. Because what we gained insight into was that the staff believed that the business owner was making a lot of money. And because that business owner, I guess, was anxious, didn't know how to communicate that they were making a loss because they felt it was a failure and because they thought it would be discouraging to their team, we ended up in a situation where the left hand and the right hand had two complete different stories going on in their head about what was going on in the workplace. Now, once we built a strategy to build the bridge where everybody gained transparency into that discussion, what we ended up with was something deeply satisfying for everybody and became an asset for everyone, because now what you saw was that staff realized and they got insight into the fact that every time they gave away a coffee, were conspiring to the demise of the business. So one immediate thing that we were able to do in that learning process as a team was empower the staff to validate their own pay rises into the future, because they realized they were conspiring against themselves and conspiring against the success of the business. So figuring out what you need to learn. So what is it that you don't know? And understanding the asset that it will bring to you as an individual and as a team can be a beautiful opportunity for all of you to thrive as stakeholders in a business through challenging times. This is a time to build community, build connection, build the strength and the bond in your team. And if you can do that and learn together and find strength in the vulnerability that exists in your business, magic happens. Really amazing, long-lasting magic. The kind of magic that doesn't depend on rah-rah positivity. It's the kind of magic that leaves people feeling inspired to come to work every day, even when things are challenging. I hope you found this series helpful. I hope that it's inspired you to look at the challenges that are happening in different ways. And I hope that you guys recognize that my only intention with this podcast is to challenge the status quo so that we can rise above the generational problems that we have in this industry. As new generations of business owners come in, we tend to repeat the same mistakes of the generations that came before us. And my deep driving force is to create generational health and wealth for the current and future cafe owners and business owners in general, roasteries, solo entrepreneurs, consultants, whoever chooses to have a business, whether it's small, medium, or large in the coffee industry. This should be a time that we fix what's wrong with the status quo and create a new elevated industry. And I'm here for it. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.